Erica, what are you doing?
Dude,
I really think we
Joe,
should not wear the pink
are you fucking serious right now? Joe,
panties around the house.
Joe,
Like there's
hey
kids.
Joe,
Maybe you should put that away.
Joe, what
Like,
the fuck are you doing?
I'm sorry, man. I was just getting ready.
Dude, what, getting ready for what? We're getting ready to do an episode. What are you getting ready for?
A safety meeting.
Oh, well then, hey, let's have a safety meeting. How about that? I'm over here fucking yelling at you and you're all looking the other direction. I don't know what you're doing,
I'm saying, man,
but,
she had him out. I had to look at him. It's rude not to look at him.
oh, okay. Well, shit. What are
Pink
you listening to
tassels.
me for then?
You you kind of ruined the moment.
So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to our show. You are here for another episode of Safety Meeting. As we all know, I'm Big Pat. They call me BP. Here with
Um,
Joe.
I like that one.
We're here for another evening of some decent conversations. It happens to be New Year's Eve, and we're gonna title this one called the distraction video. I think it's pretty fitting because I don't know. I mean, past couple of days kind of showing me that there's a lot of things going on everywhere, and there's a whole lot of distractions.
Yes, there is.
So, I mean, where do we even begin? What do you?
I think we should talk about a less known one that probably not a lot of people know about, especially if you're not from the central New York area. There was a printing press that burned down over the weekend. You know,
Out
a
in
couple out
Rochester, New York,
out,
right?
out in Rochester, New York, a couple hours right before the bombing happened in Nashville. And, supposedly to some reports, this company was linked to have made all of the ballots for the Northeast region, particularly the all of Pennsylvania. Now, I don't know, but it just seems like a lot of fishy shit's going on. You got a man that's worked at the building, worked at the company for 15 years, came out and said, after seeing all the destruction of everything, that where's all the equipment? Where's all of the big ass equipment that we use to make everything?
Yeah,
How did you get it all
right.
out?
I
So,
was looking up that same exact thing. I know exactly what you're talking about. Uh, how how it's weird that when you start looking up anything about the company, it'll give you like their homepage talking about the company and what products they have and so on and so forth. But if you start researching the company and any sort of direct affiliation, I find that my computer and my phone redirects me and like it's basically telling me to shut up and don't ask about it.
see, I
But
just
it
find
just
that
so
it runs you down a rabbit hole of dead ends.
like I would like to know, like for example, how did the fire start? Where did the fire start?
Yeah, that one
You
I
know, how
can't,
come they were not
nothing
releasing
about.
information about it yet? Like,
No one said if it's
was it a
arson.
cause? Yeah, was it an electrical thing? Was it a heating and plumbing, or not plumbing, but a heating thing? You know what I mean? But there's no release of information on it. Now, the funny thing is when it comes to these ballots, right? Now, this is public information. Everybody already is aware, and if they're not aware, so when the president came up with the concept way back in last December about the upcoming election and the fact that uh, uh, he knew that there was going to be some sneaky shit. Like, because everybody's been trying to get him out of office since the day he came into office. Why? Because I don't know. Maybe their egos are too massive. But so
Because he doesn't think
they
like they
knew
do, and it scares them.
they knew there was going to be some problems. So a couple months go by. We had the longest January ever in 2020. And then March comes and the COVID hits and it starts to take the world by storm. And then the Democrats came up with the idea of, well, maybe we can use mail in ballots. And the president agreed to said arrangement because he's like, okay, we'll do
Well,
that because
well,
we know
uh,
they're going to try to do some shit.
in the defense of the Democrats, real quick, they've been using mail-in ballots for years. It's been a
Right.
thing for a while. It's not like it's new, but this year they definitely pushed it, and they
So the
pushed it even
president, though,
harder than normal.
so the president set up a couple of different places around the country with different printing companies, creating a special water marker on each ballot. And there's actually a tracking device on each valid, legible ballot that was applied for legally and was supposed to be received legally. So therefore, to make your vote, you send it in. It's supposed to be tracked. Now he did that on more than 40,000 different accounts. Okay, so every ballot, every watermark, every official piece of paper comes with a serial number. And any printing company who creates a series of things like a document, like a ballot, something that it has to be
Hmm.
has ledger, it has a serial number, it has a paper trail. So what if you did a bunch of those? This is just all hypothetical. These are just thoughts, thinking about the distraction, right? So we have all these that are accounted for and all these that are unaccounted for. All these ones that came in from different sources. Either way, it was the biggest pile of shit anybody's ever seen. So if it leads back to if he did a bunch of ballot or a bunch of those watermarks because the president was up in Rochester, New York earlier this year. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but he was, and he even went on air talking about how they're improving big business in the state of New York, particularly the Western New York region. And so he created these marks on these ballots. They all came with their serial numbers. They're sent to the state. Pennsylvania had a lot of problems with ballots, both in person and mail in. The numbers don't add up, but the numbers don't add up a lot of places. That's part of the distraction. But what if there's actual proof? And the proof was in these serial numbers. And somebody knew that these serial numbers were released from this company, so therefore it was targeted as a cover up. Cover up. There is no paper trail if it doesn't exist. Where if it
Well,
was an
see,
electrical problem, let me hear me out though. So say if it was like an electrical problem, we know how fires work. Electrical problems are usually isolated. It's in one particular area of the
yep.
building and then spreads to the rest. Like it's almost like a map. It shows you what it did. How come there is no public records of those yet? And it's been 3 days.
Well, how about
That's
this
my
fact?
point, and I'm gonna continue. You go say what you gotta say.
Here's what I want to point out, right? So we're talking about the ballots. Do you know who the U.S. contracts out to make ballots? It's the same company every election. It's a company called Rhinebeck's Election Services. All right.
Rhinebeck Election Services.
Yep.
Okay.
And now, when you look up this company and you look up who this company is associated with, the company in Rochester is nowhere to be found on that association. And it's the same vice versa. When you look up City Blue Imaging, Rhinebeck Election Services never comes up. Now, to me, I'm not saying that doesn't prove what you're saying. I think that actually proves it a lot easier, a lot more, because you know, the company that makes all the ballots, they made a news documentary back in like October, August time, and it was about how they were making the ballots for the upcoming election. And it was about how they outsourced a lot of making of the ballots to a lot of these smaller companies in certain regions.
As well as
Now,
other countries,
yeah, as well as other countries. Now, what's fishy about that
allegedly.
what's fishy about that is when you research anything about it, the only two companies that come up is the two companies that they talk about in the news article. But they talk about the fact that they've done it to multiple places all over. Why don't you talk about them other places? Because them
So
other
what's
places is
the
where all the fishy shit's going on.
so
What I
so why
want
do
to
you think
know, what I want to know is how many other states and how many other printing presses or shit like that, places that these ballots were counted at or made at, how many of them got fucked with over the past weekend, or how many of them are about to get fucked with?
and if they did, how come we never heard nothing about it?
Exactly. Because I guarantee you that people outside of New York State didn't hear about the Rochester thing. Because shit, you live a couple hours away, and I didn't hear about it until 3 days ago. You know,
Right. It
like,
happened on Christmas Eve.
yeah, it
And then
happened.
just so then a few hours later, almost a full, let's call it a full 8 hours later, at 6 a.m., a bomb goes off in Nashville.
It wasn't even that long because the fire, they said the fire was started at like 1:30, 2 o'clock. The bomb went out. It was like 4 hours. My thing
Right.
is,
And if you go to Tennessee from New York, it's an hour behind. So it's 3 hours, really.
yeah. And my thing is, what happened to all the equipment? Where did that shit go? You moved all of it out, burnt the fucking building down. You're talking about you're going to make a temporary office next door that's supposed to open up on Tuesday.
Yeah, the community is going to help you rebuild them automatically.
Oh, see, I've seen other reports saying that they're not going to reopen.
Something sketchy about it, man. Something, there's just the numbers don't add up. It doesn't
And
seem right.
now, since you brought it now with the Nashville thing, that thing is even more sketchy because, first off, the dude himself, he looks so goddamn familiar. Like I can't put my finger on it. Or maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe he's got one of those faces that just looks like a lot of faces, but he looks like I've seen him before. Looks like if you cut his hair, he is in some other kind of like show, or you get what I'm saying?
Like a familiar face.
Yeah. Now, I personally think he's like a patsy. Like the man was in the van. Yeah, he was in the RV that blew up. Had to have been. DNA was found. But who said he was there by his will? How do we know that that someone didn't drive up, park the van with him tied up in the back, have the recording going when the timer already set, get out, dip out, and go? And
Yeah, there was a recording. There was an audio.
an
Like,
audio recording of
it
like gun.
started 10 minutes before the bomb went off. There was loud booms followed by a recording of an
Now,
automated message saying, "Warning, everyone must evacuate the area." If you don't believe me, go check it out. Look it up on YouTube. Look it
now,
up on whatever. You'll find it. Trust me, people. This is really happening.
Now there was a witness, supposed witness, because if you remember, I sent you the video the other night. Then
Yeah.
we both agreed that it sounds like a really bad crisis actor, who said that at 5 o'clock in the morning, her and her husband got woke up because right outside their window they heard gunshots. And it was 5 repeated gunshots. Boom, 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 boom. And she said, we laid back down for what had to have been no more than 5 or 10 minutes and fell back asleep, and then 5 more gunshots, boom, 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 boom. So I decided that I was going to call the police at 5. Well, first she says 8:32, and then really quick switches it to 5:32, realizing that she just said that it happened 3 hours in advance. Switches her
Right.
story up, says 5:32. Well, you just said you fell back to sleep for 5 minutes, mama. If you woke up at 5:05, heard the gunshots, went back to sleep for 5 minutes, heard more gunshots, and said, I'm going to call the police, that's 5:10, 5:15 at the latest. So you don't even know your time right off the rip. Then you say you
And the
call the
alleged
police.
witness, is, mind you, is a lady that owns the building across the street from the AT&T building that was
Yep.
accidentally targeted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
So,
what's so interesting about the AT&T building, though, Joe?
see, hold on. Let me finish with the description first, man, because this thing was gold. Like, so she says that
True.
she calls the police at 5:30, and then she goes outside, and because at this point when she's on the phone with the police, she starts to hear the automated message. So
Right.
she's walking around, and they're all freaking out in front of this van that's saying that there is a bomb in here, it will explode. Now this is at 5:30, 5:45 at the latest. All right. She says this happens for 10 to 15 minutes. And then it says the RV will explode in 10 minutes. So then everybody starts to freak out. Then now they're starting to evacuate people. How the hell do you do 6 cops, or not even 6, wasn't it only 5? 5 cops evacuate 2 blocks of people in 10 minutes in their sleep. You can
Before
spend
the sun comes up.
before the sun comes up, you could spend more than 10 minutes banging on some of these people's door because some of them just fell asleep a couple hours ago because they were up
Right.
partying or drinking or wrapping presents for their
Working.
kids or working. Like,
Right.
so you're not going to wake them up in 10 minutes and get them all out the house safely before this bomb explodes. You've been getting them out for this whole fucking hour that this thing has been going off saying there's a bomb in here, there's a bomb in here, there's a bomb in here. And instead of getting a bomb squad, you just let it happen. You saved everybody's life. So now the bomb has exploded. The woman's talking about how they drive away to a safe zone, this, that, and the third.
Stay in a hotel.
So, yep, stay in a hotel. And then the reporter asks, well, was there anything on the street that you guys think that they might have been targeting? She goes, well, the only thing I could think of is the AT&T building, but because that's only because that's where it was parked. Like, nah, you know why? Because this
No.
AT&T building is supposedly supposed to hold a supercomputer, and if you call, like, point an example, I got Cricket service, but Cricket service goes off AT&T networks. So my phone was cut off today. I knew it was cut off, but you got to check. So you go to call a number. And what it does is it brings you up to the automated service, which is AT&T's automated service. And since they said that that they've been experiencing outages because they have down systems, that that you experience longer wait times. So there really is a fucking computer down there. And then on top of that, AT&T is supposedly supposed to have a contract with to audit all the voting machines.
The Dominion systems.
Yeah, the Dominion systems, which are actually from Canada. We get all of our voting machines from Canada, which I ain't got no problem with Canadians or Canada, but I'm just saying, why do we got to get it from somewhere
Dominion
else?
Systems?
Who does it? You tell the people, because I don't know.
George Soros.
That's
George
enough.
Soros
That's enough
owns
said.
and operates. Yeah, but that's a whole nother story. But
All right.
So the Dominion system is about to be audited, and it was a big thing because it was lawmakers were pushing to have these machines be audited because it would be able to tell. Excuse me, I'm stumbling all over my words all of a sudden.
Talking like me.
How the votes went, what the actual votes were. How they were, if they were corrected, how they were corrected, the sources, everything okay. Because
I wonder.
Here's the thing, though. Here it is. When it all comes down to it, this is what happened. Okay, this is maybe unpopular opinion, but this is the truth. So what happened was, this whole year has been, well, the past 2 years in particular has been an attempt to remove President Trump from office. And they were willing to do that by any means necessary. So they did. They went above and beyond, and they did exactly what everybody knows that they did. And they stole this election. So now when you ask, this is kind of funny. If you ask any of those people, now I don't know anybody personally, but if you ask them if they believe anybody nobody's ever denying anything. They're just reversing the facts. That's all. They're deflecting. So this has been so what's happening is, and the Trump has been so persistent about uncovering the truth, and a life lesson, folks, that no matter what in life, the truth will always show its head, no matter what.
Truth shall set you
It will
free.
always will. The truth will set you free, and the truth is everything. So what's happening is the truth is getting out.
Tell it to every man
And-
on death row for murder that said, yeah, I did it. Didn't set them free. I'm sorry. Bad example.
Well,
Yo, I
it's
wonder
perspective.
if
I
you
don't
can
know.
track your
Maybe
vote.
I'm crazy, yo. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm seeing this shit all wrong. But I think the world thinks, especially the people in power here, thinks we're fucking stupid, and we're just gonna follow and follow and follow, and people aren't stupid anymore. Why? Because you armed us with these devices of technology that at one point in time enslaved us, but now is turning into something that's teaching us. And it's teaching us about the bullshit that you're trying to feed us. And it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's irresponsible. And it's an attack on the American people. There's these are all just small parts, of a bigger picture. And the bigger picture is still unclear. I don't know it, you don't know it. And we're never going to have access to the knowledge to know it. So somebody's got to be able to figure it out and let us know.
No. See, that's the thing. We do have access to the knowledge. You just mean you don't attain the knowledge to gain the access. Get what I'm saying? Like, we're not
Right.
hackers.
I'm done with computers. I don't know. I have a hard time remembering my password.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to people. The dark web scares me.
Yeah.
Like, I've Googled it. I know how to obtain it. Like, it's actually pretty easy. Just like pretty much download like a torrent browser or some shit like that, and boom, you can get on the dark web. You just got to know websites. But I don't want to know any websites. This shit scares me. I have no need to buy uranium or prostitutes or watch people get killed. I don't need any of that.
Right. That's a whole different day. There's distractions, though. Think about all these distractions that have happened.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them. But you know what I find out was weird about this thing in Nashville is how they keep on depicting the guy. Like, if you think about it, right? Obviously, day one, they didn't know who it was. That's a given, right? But then they find out who
they said nobody was dead. Or nobody died, nobody was injured. That was day one. Yeah.
And then
sorry.
And then you find DNA evidence. All right, yeah, it was a bomb. I can understand a lot of his DNA evidence disintegrates. I get physics. It takes time to find it and actually figure out who it was. But you figured out who it was pretty fucking fast. For a person who supposedly didn't have any kind of record, who the FBI wasn't looking at least this is what they're saying a couple of days ago. He wasn't being looked at. And then the next thing you know, we come to find out that his girlfriend calls the police in 2019 because he was making bombs in the RV, but the police didn't do anything. But so obviously, the FBI knew about him making bombs. He was, according to his neighbor, who was supposed to be his friend, and that guy was sketchy as fuck, who had baseball cap down to here, sunglasses, and a bandana up to here. There was no way to tell who he was. You had no true fact that that's actually his neighbor. You can't Google it.
Right.
So
much misinformation.
Yeah, and his neighbor's talking about how, oh yeah, he's a really nice guy. You never thought he would do this. I met him one day when I was out walking my dog, and he's an engineer and all this shit.
This, that, and the other thing, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a recluse. You don't really see him that much, but you managed to see him a couple days before the bombing and talk to him, and how he said he was going to be famous, not infamous, but famous. See, words are very important. I'm a stickler for words. I may not speak proper all the time, but how you use your words and the words that you choose to use is very important. Being famous is a person that's alive here and now can gain from it. But when you're infamous, that's when you live on in death. So if he went on to blow himself up and be infamous, because that's what he would be, that's what he's going to go down being, is infamous. He's always going to be known as the Nashville Bomber, and his name will be synonymous with that. He's going to be infamous, not famous.
Right.
That right there made me know that this guy's fucking lying. Because him saying he's going to be famous and then being in the car made you kick in your head that, oh man, something's about to go happen. That as soon as the bomb went off, you knew it was your neighbor because he said he was going to be famous. No, it don't add up. Like, for all as we know, this guy wasn't even actually in the van. There was no one in the van. There was no DNA evidence found. And just some random fucking patsy, and it's like some fake CGI guy that they've mashed together to say that like
Define
this guy,
patsy.
a fall boy, someone who is to take the blame for
The
something.
sacrifice.
Yeah, the sacrificial lamb, whatever you want to call him. Is that
Do
not
we
the
do
right
we
term?
no, I there was a reason why I asked.
Oh, okay.
So that being said, here's another one. Another 2020 distracted. George Floyd. That's a touchy one. It's tough to talk about. However,
See, that's something that's been
he
going
was
on for
he was
years, though.
he's part of a bigger distraction. What are they distracting us from? How is it that amidst a pandemic, people could gather by the thousands in protest of a man's death, but you can't go to your nursing home to see your grandma or your mom or your dad?
Because of the willingness of the extent we were to go to prove our point.
Right, because it was fueled by
I'm not gonna
rage.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I was one of those people that was out there.
You're fueled by rage. You're fueled by the fact that somebody or some people were willing to do what they did to get whatever message across, and it was received
Yeah.
very intensely. Because there's a lot of injustices in this world.
And I will
And I
tell you,
believe
and I would
that the powers that be use the emotions that people have based off of the things they feel strongly about as their biggest fucking weapon. Use your emotions against you. And I think I don't know. There's a lot of things to think, and,
listen,
I'm not right. I'm not right. I'm not a fucking Wikipedia. Like I just look at what I see, what's presented in front of me, the things that you choose, the media and the news and the social media and all these different things. What you choose to show us is the things that make me question what you're telling me.
no, I get what you're
Because
saying. I get what you're coming from.
why
You're
would
not
they intentionally kill somebody knowing they're being recorded? He was a sacrifice for a bigger purpose. And that purpose was to inspire division.
No, I
And it
100% get what you're saying. And here's why.
and we have Black Lives Matter, and we have Antifa, and we have this group for this kind of person, this group for this
Because
kind of person. And it's
I
all it's
can
doing is creating division, right?
I can only talk for about this city and what happened here, right? That night I was there. I seen it happen, right? So everybody's sitting down in front of the jailhouse, and everybody was turning up at first, and then next thing you know, out of nowhere, out of the group, just this one person walks up, and I'm telling you, man, I didn't see him there the whole time. Like there was a lot of people there, you know what I mean? But it's like the dude just came up out of nowhere, walked up with a baseball bat, walked up to the glass window, busted it, and just walked away. And then from that point on, everything ensued. You know what I mean? Riot gear came out. People started busting windows, breaking into all the stores downtown, breaking into, the jewelry store, this, that, and the third, which is the only thing they protected. Like they let them get into the window and get the couple things that was in the window, but that was it. As soon as they broke that glass, they was right up on them. Like they were standing there waiting, watching. Like the whole shit was staged out right in front of us. And a lot of people didn't see it. Like, I'm not saying that injustices haven't happened for years, because they have been, and we've all been seeing it. But I can get what you're saying, where he was a sacrifice. He was a person that they came out and said, you know what, we need to start something. So this is how we're going to do
We
it.
need to start our new agenda, and
Now, there's
we
a
got to
lot of
put it out there in a way that's going to make everybody see it.
Now there's a lot of people out there that have said, have conspiracy theorists that say that he's got ties to the Freemasonry, that he's a Freemason, and that him and the
Right. There's
cop
tons of
actually
backstories about the guy.
that him and the cop actually knew each other and all of that. Now, let's just say he was a Freemason. In my personal opinion, I think Freemasons are the cover boys for the Illuminati. You know what I mean? Like, because we all know Freemasonry exists. Like, you can drive through your local town and you can tell which one of the churches is theirs because of the symbol. There's one out. There's one out by my job. I drive past it every morning. Now,
True.
so let's say he is in that cult-like setting, and he had to be the sacrifice. Has his family been taken
Sacrifice
care
for
of?
what though?
For their justice? For now, and
For
I'm not
whose
saying
justice? That's what I'm
the
saying. There's too many questions for answers, or too many questions without answers.
what do you mean? That's why that in its own is why people call people like me crazy. People who look
Well,
into and actually believe in some conspiracy theories. They think we're crazy because you cannot answer all the questions because they don't want to give you all the answers because knowledge is power. And if I give you all of the knowledge, then I lose all of the power. Like it's a shadow game.
I mean,
We're
we
not
almost
supposed to know who runs it.
everybody almost defunded the police. I mean, this really pushed a lot of
Be honest with you,
like
with the way the police system is run nowadays, I don't think it should be funded to how it's run. I don't think the police system needs to be defunded. I think it needs to be changed. Like, the police system used to be to serve and protect. A lot of people don't know this, but within the last 10 years, the Supreme Court has actually said that it is no longer the police's job to serve and protect. It is only their job to uphold the Constitution, which means it is only their job to imprison you. Because the only way they can make you a slave is for you to be in prison. It's right there, and it's right there in the amendment that freed the slaves. That you're all free unless you're a man that's in jail. That's when you lose your freedoms. That's when you become a slave to the state. And now, really to this day, we're all still kind of slaves to the state. You have to get paid. You have to get paid what they want, but you have to pay out what they want. Like, they take half your fucking money in taxes. Like, all this crazy shit. Yeah. You coming to me and saying, "Oh,
we know this."
Just you being alive, you got to give me money." It's like, what? And
yeah.
And to be honest with you,
there's a tax.
It's funny. Everything. It's funny because you got everybody out here nowadays talking about how hard they are and this, that, and the third, but you get bullied over tax money every year. We all bitches on some G shit. Like we all the government's bitch. They bend us over and fuck us every year.
Yeah.
They live up off of us.
Yeah.
Like right now, Biden went out and said, because right now they're talking about they want to do $50,000 debt relief for all U.S. citizens, and the president has the power of it. And they were talking to Biden about it if he wanted to do it. He's like, yeah, I've thought about it. I don't think it's a good idea, though. I don't think it's a smart idea. How is it not a smart idea to let people out of debt and let them live freely? Like, me personally, I don't even have anywhere close to that in student loan debt. So
right, if you want people to go out and buy houses and buy new cars, they got to have credit. And in order to have credit, they got to be able to show that they have these fucking debts that are attached to them for 20 years because you tried to further your education. You shouldn't have to go into 20 years debt to continue further and educate yourself. Just that concept alone is foolish.
I don't think a person should go into 30 years debt to buy a house. I don't think your mortgage should be 30 years long.
Why is a house so fucking expensive? Why? Why is it that I can buy a house right now that costs, $40,000, okay? $40,000, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, right? Sitting on approximately almost a 1-acre lot, okay? $40,000. Now, this house was built in 1936, okay? On a piece of land that has now been bought and sold so many times, okay? So now I'm going to take this house built in 1936, and in 2020 or 2021, I'm going to give you $40,000 for a house that was probably constructed on its land and everything hooked to it for probably $25,000. So that house has been bought and paid for and sold and resold and
In 19
resold and
in
resold.
1936.
And the actual of the property of the house and everything is $26,000. Okay. So how is it that in 2020, off of 1932, over a 90-year difference, how is it that one house you can go into debt for the next 25 years to finance when you don't even know if that fucking thing is going to live 10 years more, let alone 20 years to pay off that debt? Whoever came up with that concept is a moron. You want everybody to live in these houses. That's why we build them. We'll make them affordable so people can fucking live in them. I'm sorry. I'm a regular guy. I'm a fucking tile guy. That's what I do for a living. I'm not bringing in 6 figures a year to go spend $300,000 on a house. I don't got that kind of money. So therefore, you got to rely on a bank or some sort of loan officer to be able to give you that money so you can apply for that house. And it's ridiculous. Why does the cost of living have to be so high?
All right,
Why do they tax everything? It's ridiculous.
here's some numbers for you. Now, a house in 1930 that it could be bought for around $6,000. All right, so you can buy the house straight out, $6,000, would be worth roughly $195,000 today.
In
Just let
mint condition.
in mint condition, brand fucking new, brand new house, $6,000 right now. House is yours. 1930 today, 200,000.
Why?
Exactly. Why?
Why?
The wood has gotten cheaper. Like that is a fact. You can have
At the
something.
expense of our rainforests.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Like you can buy, like you can go buy something. You can have something in your house that your grandfather made in 1930 that is in better condition than something you buy at Walmart today. That will last you
That's why I make my
longer.
own furniture, Joe. That's why I make my own furniture.
Erica
No,
wants you to,
I'm gonna have
Erica
these
wants,
motherfuckers over my life.
Erica wants you to build us a side table out of this piece of marble or this piece of granite she's got that she used to use for leather working.
Let's see it. Well, I mean, you don't have to show it to me now at a later time, but
Yeah,
yeah, why not?
that's what I figured. I'm like, he'll do it for us. He's got all the tools to do it. He likes doing stuff like that.
It's fun.
And listen, people, if you don't like us breaking into normal conversation during a serious episode, then you can go fuck yourself because this is our podcast. But if you like it, just remember, right down here somewhere, there's a like and subscribe button, notification bell. Hit them motherfuckers. All right?
Bing.
A lot of y'all be watching and not hitting. This shit's selfish. Like,
like everybody's got an opinion about something. I'm not saying I want to receive a bunch of hate, but maybe just yo.
Yeah, even if it's go fuck yourself, you guys suck.
Yeah.
That's all right too. You know, you
Yeah.
got to get shit on and get better.
Because we're not trying to be famous, folks. We're just trying to make you maybe make you open up your eyes a little bit. That's it. I'll make you think. Because there's a lot of bullshit going on everywhere. And if you just watch the news and that's your source of information, I'm sorry, man, you got to expand beyond that because the news is going to tell you what they're told to tell you, and that's it. Just remember that. Everybody answers to somebody. Always.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind being famous, bro. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Capitalism at its finest.
I wouldn't mind if our show blew up and people watched us. I'd kind of like it.
Word. Too many distractions.
Maybe this is another one.
And that's the thing. And it's like, dude, there's nothing to fucking do. Right? So it's like, what are we supposed to do except educate ourselves? Either educate ourselves or sit there, do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. No, you educate yourselves. And
I don't know, nowadays, man. A lot of people don't.
I,
I mean,
you have to.
honestly, I will say this during this lockdown, a lot of people have been. A lot of people have been sitting home and doing nothing but doing research and shit that they've never had time to research, that they've always called people like me idiots for. And now that they do the research, they're like, oh man, maybe these people weren't wrong. Maybe they're not so crazy.
If you really want to wake up, I'm not going to go into okay, if anybody's ever heard of Q, uh, Q is a hacker who posts a lot of really controversial and true things. Um,
Never
you
heard of
choose to
them.
believe it or not. Um, I'm not going to go much further than that because there's a lot of heat behind him because of the facts that he's been reporting. But if you want to educate yourself on some real things,
Where do you find this
inquire
guy
about
at?
a job.
Where do you find him at? Where's his content at? Just so that people know, because
Just
I've never heard of him.
you've never heard of Q?
No, I've never heard of him.
Have you ever heard of the Have you ever heard of the Blaze?
Nope.
Or how about the Patriot?
Nope.
These okay, all those are different groups. You know, the Patriots are real people, and I know there's, and I hope that we our message reaches out to the Patriots because when the time comes, we all know what to do. Um, but so there's a lot of information being released about a lot of things, and it's up to you whether you're going to interpret what you believe it or not. You know, that's you know I'm not saying everything I read is true. There's a lot of bullshit. It's hard to decipher between the real and the bullshit because there's a lot of bullshit. And then there's a lot of stuff that's real, but it sounds like bullshit because it's too good to be real.
So what if?
Like, oh, hey, like here's a good idea. Here's a great idea. Ready? So, how about let's give you guys, just because we love our country so much, how about we're gonna give you guys $600 for each individual in your house
But
to
if you're
show you how much we love you and we appreciate you.
but if you're an illegal immigrant, we'll give you 1,800.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're Pakistan, we're gonna give you like 12 million or 22 million for
Here's a
gender
thought
research.
for you. Yeah, I'm just saying. Here's a thought for you. Do you think other countries tax their people so that they can give us money?
No,
No. Why is that?
because America's the one borrowing money.
So how are we getting this money?
America is just like its people, right?
Off the backs of our fucking grandchildren. That's where we're getting this money from.
We live off of credit. Most people in America live off of credit. Like you buy your house off of your credit. You know, your ability to pay it long term.
Your invisible fucking number. Credit means nothing.
Exactly, my man. And that's
Credit
how
means
America
nothing.
and that's how America's been doing it this whole time too. They've been borrowing money.
It makes you believe there's this imaginary bar that you need to do. Oh, I got to pay my bills on time. I got to make sure to pay that credit card. I need to hit this imaginary fucking number. So that way I can go take out this 12-year loan on my car. It's going to be great. Fuck you. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life.
I don't understand. I don't understand why people can't just be fine with taking a couple grand and buying a car, putting a little work into it, and then you got a car for a few years. And then a few years later, when you got a couple more grand saved up, you do it again.
If you want to figure out how to make the world do better, you got to lower the cost of living. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to stop importing. You need to start making here at home. No more imports. There was a time when America was exporting much more than they imported. And at some point in time, the balance changed, and we definitely import a lot more than we export. And that's sad.
People may think I'm fucking crazy by saying
you are
this.
Crazy.
I mean, yeah, but so you know what?
A little bit.
Crazy people speak the truth. That's all right. Because we speak with an unfiltered mind.
Are we missing the fucking tinfoil hats to make us crazy?
See, and that's the thing. They don't even sell tinfoil anymore. It's aluminum foil.
Oh shit, you're right.
Now they can get you. Now they can read your thoughts. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, it's way
Yeah,
thinner than
yeah,
tin.
they can go right through that. But
Bullshit.
yeah. Now I lost
I
where I was
totally cut
going,
you off. I'm sorry, bro.
and I lost where I was going.
I just had to figure out a way to incorporate a tinfoil hat.
Oh man, all I remember saying is I might be crazy.
Some people actually believe that this is the end of the times. And I
So,
know I've said this before. We have talked about this before, but I still refuse to believe it, man. We all have to have that
I think
conscience
it's
to want to live, and then therefore we will.
I think it's the beginning of the events of Revelations, because just because you can read it in a couple pages, in a short period of time, doesn't mean it happens in a short period of time. That thing it happens over
First
several
comes the
decades.
fire,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
comes disease.
really, what comes first is prosperity. A lot of people don't understand that. First thing that happens is 7 years of prosperity. He comes to you as like a savior for the first 7 years, which is funny that a president's term is 8 years. And then after that seventh year, he shows his true form. And he shows, that's when the famines start and the poverty starts. And the people that lived on the top drop to the bottom. That's when all of that shit starts. But I think in my opinion, I think it's the beginning of the end. Yeah. In a certain sense, not like the end. I don't think the universe will end in a whole. I think the universe in itself is an ever living entity.
There's some conspirators refer to what they call as the Great Reset,
Yeah,
and
that's kind of how I feel about it. I never knew about that,
I
but
think the world is trying to just different people, different sources, different conspirators, because yeah, there's a lot more people out there besides the United States, and they have a lot of thoughts and opinions too.
fuck
And the
yeah.
world as a whole, they've been trying to get in motion the theory of the Great Reset, and in order to do that, you have to acquire a certain amount of pieces for it to happen, and all those pieces are pretty much acquired. And the problem is, our president is standing in the way because he's never bought into the bullshit and he's never been bought. And that's the problem, because he's using his wealth to get honest, hardworking people to investigate and to research and to look for solutions to answers that he can't
What
find
if
answers to on his own.
that within
No
itself?
no one man possesses the ability to change the outlook of a civilization. No person should have that kind of a power. So any person who steps up and tries to challenge the powers that be is going to be extinguished, especially somebody with nothing to lose.
All right. So
He was the perfect.
what if that within itself is the biggest distraction? The president within himself, he is the biggest distraction. He is the one taking your eyes off of everything. Not just him in general, the whole election debacle and the faking of the election and everything like that. You got so many people consumed on it. Those things within itself are the biggest distractions. See, because those things are the things that are taking over the fucking media, and people don't
They're
realize
more
it. What if
concentrated on the hearsay rather than the facts.
what if there really never was a conspiracy in the election, and
What if? Yeah,
Trump's just buying into it because he's bought into the distraction.
what if Biden really did win?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if he really did?
Oh shit. See, what happened was Joe and I were going on a segment that we'd like to call uh, ad libs, and well, Joe's microphone is talk. I usually just talk for him, And what
There
he
you
what
go.
he said just then was, he turned his head and he said, "Nah, just get the plunger." And that was pretty
Exactly.
much that. That's how you solve that. So we're just catching everybody up. I didn't want you to think your microphone just shit out or nothing.
No, no, no. I had to take care of some personal business.
Yeah,
But
yeah, get the plunger, man. That's how this song is going to go down.
but I really believe that is the ultimate distraction. Like that within itself is the ultimate thing to consume everybody's time and everything. Because what has skirted past a lot of people is you've had the vaccines roll out. And when they rolled out in the UK, a short time after they started rolling out, they had a super strand of the fucking coronavirus that's supposedly not more deadly, but just more contagious, which means more people are gonna catch it. Now, what happened in Colorado? Person got caught, got the super strand of the coronavirus. Then next thing you know, happens in fucking California, which happens to be the most populated state in the United States. Pretty coincidental. Like the the vaccine itself seems to be causing this, but no
I think
one's
more people
paying
live in
attention to
Texas.
it.
We'll have to fact check that.
Nah, I
I think
seen
more
it.
people live in Texas.
I seen it on CNN earlier when they were
More
talking
famous
about it.
people live in California than anywhere else in the United States.
I just seen it on CNN the other day, man.
Anyways,
But
that was a good one.
so that's what they're really distracting you from. Like, I don't even think that the coronavirus is meant to really kill everybody. Like, I think it's something that's meant to destroy your body long term. Like, maybe they're really trying to turn us into fucking zombies. Who knows? Like, it seems like a very plausible thing. Because when everybody thinks of zombies, they think of The Walking Dead, or they think of, the Day of the Dead, shit like that. 28 Days
What if
Later.
it's what if it's
But
Asia's way of getting back at us?
I could be, because China is slowly trying to start re-expanding itself so it can reconquer Japan, and we have a lot of military bases on
Because
Japan.
because it is what it is, and you can't change history. But we're
China
really fucked
has and
with
always
Japan.
wanted China has and always wanted to have world domination. They've always wanted to control the world. That's why they tried
But
to
we
expand
really
the Americas before anybody else.
but we almost extinguished the Japanese people
Ah,
in
but
two
see,
fellow swoops.
yeah, but see, they understand.
So,
But
so okay, so what if I know this might be, I don't know what kind of audience of people will be listening, but like what if, all these years they've spent decades, generations trying to figure out how to retaliate, how to get back at all those people that lost their lives and then they didn't even know what was happening. That's something that we did. Granted, it ended the war, but I mean, wouldn't you want to end the war if everybody just got microwaved?
yeah, but see, where I'm saying that Japan did that to themselves is because they kind of went against Big Brother. I don't think that's
Right?
why. I don't. That's why I don't think that China's really mad about that. Because if I remember correctly, wasn't China on our side during that battle, during that war? Weren't they actively helping the United States?
An ally.
Exactly. Because Japan went against Big Brother. You didn't do what
But
we
the
wanted you to do. That's
yeah,
why
but the
that's
enemy of my enemy is my friend.
yeah, but sometimes you gotta let them. Sometimes, how do you put it? Sometimes you gotta smack the hand, and that's so for the person know not to grab the cookie.
Man, if you ever fucking slap my hand when I reach for a cookie at your house, we're gonna have problems.
Uh,
I take my baked goods very seriously.
well, just know, at my house, when you ate baked goods, only eat one, and then wait 30 minutes. Oh yeah.
Eventually, folks, we're gonna have different things. I'm gonna have some sound effects I'm gonna get a little creative. I got me a loop station for Christmas. I got me a microphone. Just bringing all the pieces together. It's gonna get a little fun because people may not know this about me. I'm actually a pretty creative guy. You'd be surprised. Stay tuned to find out, though. That's the best part. How crafty can he be? They look like just a couple of stoners hanging out, talking to each other every day. Yeah, doesn't mean
Pretty much
stoners
what
aren't
we
creative.
are. Yeah. This right here does not happen very often, people.
You think they created Alice in Wonderland on natural life? Hell no. It's one of the life's or one of my generation's favorite stories. Alice in Wonderland. I'm just saying. Just because you may be against something doesn't mean you should be closed-minded to it. What doesn't work for you works for other people.
Never speak about Alice in Wonderland again.
Whatever, dude. That's a great story. I don't care what you say.
You are a bore, Damien. Friday, or next Friday after next, whatever it was, the one with Cat Williams and Terry Crews or whatever his name is. Terry Crews creeps up on him in the bathroom.
I only saw the second one.
Oh, okay. So, all right, bet.
They made a
So,
third one?
yeah. So Terry
The
Crews.
fucking Friday after the next Friday?
Yeah. So right. So Terry Crews plays this dude that's this landlady's son who just got out of prison. Like he spent like more of his life in prison than he's, you know what I mean, spent out of prison. So he's a little And he's got this thing for fucking Cat Williams, the whole movie. And they at this party, Christmas party. And Cat Williams goes to use the bathroom, so Terry Crews runs up on him, trying to steal something from him. You know what I'm saying? Trying to show him the trouser snake. You know? And somehow Cat Williams gets a pair of vice grips off the back of the toilet that was holding the knob on, so that it had the water. And he fucking torqued up on his nuts with it and sat there and goes, "I am a boy, Damien. I am a boy." Oh, man, that shit was hilarious. Shout out to Cat Williams, man. You funny as hell. You're not funnier than Kevin Hart's writers, but you're funny.
Hell yeah. Cat Williams make you. If it wasn't for him, I would never put my own twist on his skit of working in a kitchen at McDonald's. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. You know, when he does that skit where he's pretending like he's flipping a burger and shaking the fries. Like, fuck that, dude. That was just gold.
I was working at McDonald's when he came out that skit too, so I thought it was hilarious.
It was awesome.
Yo, yeah, you
Definitely
know,
awesome because there's moments like that. Like I've worked in a few restaurants in my life for sure, you know, and when it's like a good night and we're going good, there's music going and everybody's in a good mood. And I'm that guy. I'm fucking jamming along, singing while I'm cooking, doing whatever. It's a good time, man.
Yeah, there was
Anything
that.
could be a good time as long as you're in the presence of good company.
I always liked that one skit he had, man. He was talking about he was in a strip mall, or he was in a mall, and it's built in a circle. So he's sitting there walking around the mall talking about, "Oh man, they got a Foot Locker in here." No shit. Keeps on going around. They got 2 motherfucking Foot Lockers. Oh my god. Keeps on going around. They got 3 motherfucking Foot Lockers. Holy shit.
Where the hell are we?
Oh man, like this nigga stupid as hell. And then he went and beat up a teenager, and shit goes south. Got to stay off the drugs, kids. Don't smoke crack.
Ever. If it doesn't come from the ground naturally, you probably shouldn't put it in your body.
Exactly.
That's a good life lesson. Go with what God gave you.
Then there's even some things that grow out of the ground you shouldn't dig.
True.
You know what I mean?
But
don't go around eating snake berries.
Or crab apples. They taste like shit.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
However, Crab Apple Wars is a good time. I don't know if you ever had Crab Apple Wars before. It is a good time.
I grew up in the
It's like a
country.
snowball fight, but
Yo, you ever seen those things that fall out of trees that they're on the outside they're like green and spiky?
yeah, water chestnut.
Yeah, and then on the inside they got them really hard seeds. Yo, bro,
Yeah,
we used to whip those at each other. Oh man, those are the best wars to get ever.
and every now and then you get that old rotten ass one. So when it hit somebody, it exploded.
Yep,
Eh,
yep.
that was awesome. Crab Apple Wars. And
Oh no, I'm talking about the water chestnuts. We would throw those at
yeah,
each other.
they're all one and the same. When I was living down in Florida, man,
No, man, when you break that nut out of there, man, that's like throwing a rock at somebody.
right. But you need that to be in the inside of that motherfucker so it keeps the balance while it's throwing.
Nah, see, I used to just crack them open and take the nut out and throw it at people's face. We eventually had to stop playing that game.
How do you change the world, Joe?
Change the way the children view it.
That's not what you told me before. Before is the best answer. And it's the only answer. One
That's my
person at a
truth.
time.
Yeah. But that person has to be a young person.
No, they don't.
No, of course it does.
They could be somebody younger than you, older than you, same age as you.
Listen, you're never gonna fully change a person that has already grown and made up their own conclusions on things. Like you can help them see a different path, but you're never gonna completely change their mindset. But whereas a
Oh
child,
no, you
where
don't
their
ever
mind
try
is
to
still
change somebody's mindset.
exactly, that's where with the child, their mind is molding to this world. So you change the way the children see this world, you change the world. You teach children that it's okay to love people and trust people, then this world would be a lot better place. Because
And right now,
let's all be honest. If we all listened to our mothers and did not speak to strangers, none of us would have friends. What your parents
true,
mean is do not talk to adults. That's what we should be teaching our children. Do not associate yourself with adults that are not your kin.
that you do not know.
Yeah. If you do not know them and they are not kinfolk, do not associate yourself with them.
I respect that.
Like, but as far
But
as
here's the thing though, like, but right now, there's kids that have been home for months at a time, and they haven't been able to see each other, and so like, it's already started where they're becoming socially awkward
not all kids are
because
though.
when they, okay, so I'll give you my perspective. Okay, I'll give you my parental perspective. So my daughter doesn't, she's an only kid, and she doesn't go to in school person or it's in yeah in person school. We've already talked about this though, but uh, she doesn't get a chance to see kids and get to go out and be crazy and be a kid with another kid because everybody stays to themselves because coronavirus tells us what we have to. So yesterday, I took my daughter and we went sledding, and it was awesome. It was a great time, and there was a whole bunch of people there, and it was cool. It was really great to stand there at the top of the hill and you see all these kids sledding everywhere. There was laughter, people talking over one another. You know what I mean? There was people screaming. They were having a good time, and it was really a beautiful thing. And but so like as many people were there, everybody was broke off into groups though. Nobody was together and like all together in one spot hitting like the main part of the hill. Everybody was broke down into their own groups of who they came with, separated, and they were all sliding in different intersections, eventually making like a baseball diamond at the bottom of the hill, and everybody connected to one another at the end. And whatever, that's
Maybe it's
cool.
always been like that, and you're just now more noticing it more though.
But so my daughter starts talking to a kid who's her age, and My daughter is a lot like me, so she's really outspoken. She just talks a lot, and she'll talk to anybody who wants to listen to her. Um, so she starts talking to this kid, and I'm not going to say his name. And they're getting along great, but he does not know how to interact back to her. He doesn't know how to talk. Like, you know what I mean? Like he talks in emojis. You know, he's one of those
He
kids.
could have always been like that though. There's just some people that are socially awkward. Because bro, when I was your kids' age, when I was our kids' age, I didn't know how to talk to people. I
But
legit didn't talk.
so
I
hear me
was
out though.
socially awkward.
So they played, they had a good time. Eventually they broke the ice, and they had a good time. It was really nice to see her get to play with some other kids, another kid. So, we go back up towards the top of the hill where everybody else is because Kaylee went down the hill, and she was the kid because I told her go build a ramp, and you got to have one big ramp at the bottom of every hill. You gotta. That's just that's just how life works. You're supposed to. Doesn't mean you have to take it, but there's always got to be a ramp at a hill every time. So we should build a hill, and our sleds are different than everybody else's. Everybody else had like tubes and saucers, and we had the old toboggan sleds that would cut straight through that. And nobody would let her borrow a sled so she could try the ramp out that she just created. But nobody wanted her to go down on her toboggan sled and fuck it all up either. And I'm like, well, that's kind of messed up. She put in the work. But
People have always been like that, man. That goes back to what I was
nah,
saying earlier.
not from
See,
where I'm
see,
from.
see, they weren't like that in our generation. But that's something that's been like that going on for years that you're just now becoming noticed to. See
Like
that
when I grew up, if somebody had a cool sled, be like, "Yo," you hand them yours, they hand them theirs. You exchange, you go take a
that
trip down, you come back up. That was cool. That was
yeah,
it.
but you know what, you know where that comes from? That comes from years and years of these kids being told and generations, because we were being told this when we were younger. I mean, maybe not necessarily so much where what I mean you're from, but like I was told this a lot when I was younger. Don't trust people. Like people are not your friends.
I
Like
was told
people
I was told the same thing,
like
but
you know what I
I
mean
felt
people
like
are
I've had a pretty good judge of character throughout my whole life.
I mean, but yeah, but you know what I mean a lot of kids are impressionable. And then after a certain time, when you tell people things for that's why racism is rampant as it is because these people have been bred for generations to believe these things. And that's all we've been doing with our kids with hate. For generations, we've been teaching our kids to not trust people because they're not from your circle. You get what I'm saying? Like
Right,
we'll associate with you with small terms, but don't ask me for nothing. Like I'll take something from you, but don't ask me for nothing.
right.
Like it's weird, man. Like honestly, like I I think last year if we would have won something like that around here, went sledding, wouldn't no one have let us use their sled either, and I wouldn't have let anybody use our sled because how do I know you're gonna bring my sled back? I've seen plenty of people try to walk off of my sled, and then we have to say something about it, and that's coming from my
That,
childhood. You know what I mean? I
that's
let
yeah,
someone borrow something and they try to walk away with it like it's theirs. And then next thing you know, we got a tussle. And to be honest
yeah.
with you, I don't want my kid to have that life. So better off just don't let anybody touch your shit.
I'm the complete opposite, Joe. I'm a firm believer in what's mine is yours, and I share everybody with everybody, everything if I can. I mean, obviously, I'm not. But you know what I'm
Which
saying. That's just
no,
who I am.
which
If I
is
got it,
how
you got it.
which is
If
how
that's
which is how you should live life. Not a lot of people, and me included. Like, bro, I have a problem with giving people money that beg for it. Like, if I see that you're an honest person, like I know you, and you come up to me, you be like, "Yo, Joe, can I hold $10 till payday?" I'll be like, "Yeah, here you go." And then when you get paid, I don't even want your fucking money back. because it's
Right.
not the fact
Because
that
you don't know what
it's
they had to go through just to ask you for that.
exactly because you know what I mean. A lot of times, if you ask me for $10, you really need 20. You know what I mean? So I'll give you the $10, especially if you come to me talking about, oh, I'm gonna pay you back. Because then at that point, unless it's a couple $100, I don't want the money back. If it's $10, I don't worry about that $10, bro.
You catch me when you can catch me.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not giving you a timeline. You just know, and I know. And when you're good, you're gonna go, hey, I remember I owe you
we go-
$10, and then
we're
you'll
gonna
bring it out and you'll
exactly.
put it on the table.
We're gonna be out at the store one day, and you're gonna be buying some shit, and I'm gonna throw my shit out on the counter, and you're just gonna have to pay for it. You owe me $10. Here we go. You're gonna buy me some candy.
There you go.
You know what I mean? You might even come out short. Like it might only be $4 worth of
I
candy
want
there.
this. Yeah, I want this Arnold Palmer and this fucking fudge round. And thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's the way life should work, especially with your peoples. Like we got to stop teaching people to distrust everybody.
Right. You find that some of them, and like, okay, so you said you'd have a hard time giving money to people, right? So I have a hard time. I have a hard time with, like, say you see a beggar, or you got the bums, and
Yeah, those are the
there's
people I don't like
bums, and
giving
there's
money to.
yeah, there's bums, and then there's homeless people. Believe it or not, people, they are not one and the same. They are two different, completely different people. A homeless person is truly a person who's down on their life and absolutely nothing didn't work for them.
Not
Where
always.
a bum blames everybody's problems on society and expects something for free. That's a
Listen,
bum.
not always. Because listen, there was a homeless lady in New York City, and I shit you not, because this is a Googleable thing, like 10, 15 years ago. She died natural causes in her tent overnight in an alleyway. And when they went and they got her all of her belongings out of her tent, in her tent, and shit you not, this article said she had $175,000 cash, Daddy, from people giving her $1. Like honestly, it's a great plan. Like I
You're a
could
bum.
I can't do it, but it's a great plan. Listen, you ask 1,000 people for $1, and 900 of them tell you no. You still got $100. And
Nope.
all you did was just stand there all day. You got $1. You got a
All you
dollar.
did there was stand there all day long and fucking disrespect yourself.
Yeah. And
The
you know
amount
what
of
I've
energy that
noticed?
it takes to beg somebody for something is the amount of energy you exert into doing whatever you have to do to earn an honest fucking paycheck. Because
The
that's
up
the only way you're going to do anything in life is through hard work, period. It doesn't matter what it is.
the uptick in homelessness directly correlates with the rampant drug use of heroin nowadays and methamphetamines. Like
Absolutely.
I'm not saying cocaine and crack are good things, but you know what? A fucking crackhead go to work for his money. He may not go to work every single fucking day, but he's gonna be there 3 or 4 days out of the week to make sure he's got enough to get his crack. You know what I'm saying? They may break into your house and steal your fucking refrigerator and whatever else you got, but you know what? They didn't stand on the fucking corner begging for the money. I got more respect for that than I got respect for the dude standing on the corner and asking me for $1. Just on some G shit. I'd rather have you run up in
But at
my
the
house
same
trying to
time,
steal
like,
from me.
I've endured a lot of homeless people, a lot of bums in my life, all over this fucking country,
And they all got a
and
fucking story.
they all got a story. But little truth be told is every person's story that they have to tell is in their eyes, and you could tell if somebody's bullshitting you or somebody's telling you the truth. At least
Oh
I
yeah.
can.
Oh no,
And
100%.
there have definitely been some people in life where I've been in a position where I might have had $3, $4 just chilling because I'm not the guy to ever have cash. And I'm like, you know what? And I'll be chilling, and I'll watch somebody because I'm a people watcher too. I understanding how people work without the use of words is pretty great. And you could tell when somebody's down and out in their life. Like, look, man, I've been homeless in my life. I've been at that low point. I'd never begged for nothing. Instead, I figured out how to solve my problem and I worked my ass off and got out of it every damn time. Because there's no need to ask anybody for anything. You got your own hands, you got your own 2 feet. As long as you got a heart pumping in your chest and a desire to live, that should be your motivation. And these people wake up every day thinking their life sucks and choose to live on the street and take drugs and do all these things. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't feel bad for you. I feel like there's something that happened in your life that you don't know how to solve it, and you think that living life in a blur is the answer. It's not the answer. What's the point of having a reality if you can't focus in on it? It's stupid.
I feel you.
Those are the people. It's like, so you either make the choice. You take that step. You improve your quality of life and create your own set of standards and live by them, or just die, because that's your only two options. You need to correct yourself. You have to have that want to correct yourself. Period. And there's no
Facts
need for
right
anybody
there.
to fucking there's no need for anybody to have your 9 to 5 be sitting on a corner talking about how you don't ain't got nothing. Bullshit. Put that same energy into the nothing that you have and create something. Don't be a fucking waste of society. If I see you on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 3:30 on the same fucking corner, well, guess what? You could be at a job site. I don't want to see you anymore.
So
I don't want to
listen,
see you. You know what I mean? It makes me sick. But then there's a lot of people who really do fall on hard times. Like I know, like I said, I've been homeless before, and I fell on hard times. Life got to the concept where, or to the
but like
reality
you
where
said,
I couldn't control it anymore.
but like you
But I
said, you
still
wasn't out
figured
there
out a way
begging.
to get out of it. I
But like you said,
never begged anybody, never asked anybody for one damn thing.
that's what I
Not a
mean.
penny, not a
That's
cigarette, not nothing.
that's
If I
different.
can't afford it, I don't need to have it.
That's different. Like you got a lot of people that ain't out there like that, man.
Right, because
But
we have a whole generation of people expecting handouts.
I think we should end this one on a positive note and talk about how the Redskins cut Dwayne Haskins. I think it's
Who?
about Dwayne exactly the bum ass kid from Ohio State who they drafted last year, who was straight garbage. It's
Never heard of
gone.
her.
Oh, that's all right.
The Redskins? Who are they?
Oh, I'm sorry. The Washington football team.
Oh
You
my
know,
goodness. You're a fan? Oh man. They could have made the playoffs, Joe.
could have. We will.
I don't know, man. It's down to Jets, Giants, Eagles.
No,
That's
it's
pretty much
not.
what
We're
it's
we're
gonna.
we're still in the lead of the division. All we have to do is beat the Eagles. The Eagles are eliminated because they lost last week to the Cowboys.
So if the Cowboys,
If the Cowboys win and we lose, then the Cowboys go. If we lose and the Giants win, then the Giants go. But if we win, then we go. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
okay,
And we beat the Eagles with Haskins the first time. So I'm pretty sure we'll beat the Eagles without Haskins the second time. And then we'll be in the Super Bowl because we're going to beat everybody in the playoffs against the Chiefs.
even Green Bay.
Even Green Bay. Dude, we almost beat Green Bay last year. A lot of people don't know that. We almost beat Green Bay
I don't
last year.
know.
We get
Last
Aaron,
year,
Aaron Rodgers even said it on the Pat McAfee show, man. Redskins were a lot better than people gave them credit for, especially last year. And our defense is way better than it was last year, man. Like you got to give that boy credit, man. That boy Chase Young, he's something special. He is definitely something special. He's one of those Ray Lewis, Lawrence Taylor, once generation, hard to find, galvanate and change a team type of defensive player. Like, I don't think like I like Ron as a coach, but I don't think we would have had any type of success this year if Chase Young wouldn't been the player that he was. I've watched every snap of every game. Like that boy, he has a motor that don't stop. He's out there hyping up the offense. He's standing right next to the coach every fucking play that he's not in the game.
Alex Smith is still the way to go.
They've already they talking about he gonna be ready, and even if he's not, I kind of got faith in that Heineke kid. Like there was something about his swagger.
Though there's something about that magic that that he brought back.
Oh no, I'm with you. I like Alex Smith. If Alex Smith is our quarterback, I 100% think that there ain't no one that can stop us.
That man. Although he plays with caution, has a point to prove, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he is going to make the best of it.
See, I don't like that. People say that he doesn't play with caution. If you sit there and you actually watch him play, he just makes the smart play. He's not willing to take.
He doesn't take any unnecessary risk.
Exactly. He's not going to throw it in a double coverage 50 yards down the field just because the guy's Terry McLaurin, or just because the guy's fucking Santana, or I was about to say Santana Moss. I'm stuck with Redskins players, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like he's not that guy, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, cause unless you got Randy Moss, like that's not going to work for you, bro. Throwing it 50 yards down the field in double coverage very rarely.
But just think about the things that Alex Smith was about to do with Kansas City before he got injured. I mean,
he didn't get injured in Kansas City.
No,
he got injured in the Redskins. We were 6-2, and we played against the Titans, the Texans, and I think it was Jadeveon Clowney broke his leg.
That's right. I'm not sure what I'm thinking, to be honest with you. I guess I'm just stoned and mumbling
at
that point.
Well, because the year before that with the Chiefs, they made it. They did fucking awesome. Went to I think it was the AFC Championship and lost, and then they traded him. They traded him to the Redskins for Kendall Fuller and I think like a second, third round pick.
They're not going to beat the Bills, though.
Please,
throwing that out there.
Please.
So now that if you're all done talking about Washington for a minute,
please,
let's talk about that Monday night game when these guys right here. Not only did I not say in the last episode that when we would go to New England, we would wipe our ass on their field, and that's exactly what we did.
And have I not been telling you this whole season? It's not Josh Allen, but it's Stefon fucking Diggs. And if that game right there doesn't admit to it, then
that doesn't even, dude. That doesn't even make any sense. How is there a Stefon Diggs without Josh Allen?
Bro, Stefon Diggs has been a beast the last 6 years in the league, bro. What are you talking about?
No offense to the Bills, but is Matt Barkley going to get the ball to Stefon Diggs? No.
Yes.
No,
anybody,
no.
Bro. Yes.
Is Jeff Toll going to get the ball to fucking Stefon Diggs? No.
Bro.
Trust me.
All right. Who was the Vikings quarterback before Kirk Cousins? Exactly. You don't know. And he was still beasting out. Just so you know, it was Teddy Bridgewater and Case Keenum and them, and Sam Bradford because he kept on getting hurt. And he's still been beasting out. Stefon Diggs becoming the best wide receiver in the league was going to happen this year, regardless of the team that he was on. That kid is a beast. And
it just so happens to be Josh Allen.
Exactly.
Who's throwing it perfectly to him every time.
But see, it's not perfectly to him every time. Like there was one of them where he had to run to the ball and then dive and catch for it. A lot of receivers wouldn't even have made the play. They wouldn't even attempted it. A lot of that is Stefon Diggs willing his way to it. or like that one where Josh Allen was rolling out to his right, and Stephon Diggs was supposed to be running a comeback route, but he stopped his route and ran midfield where there was no one at, and gave Josh Allen someone to throw to. And I'll give it to you, it was a beautiful fucking throw. He's got the arm strength to make the throw. But there's a lot of them where
Josh Allen's beast.
but there's a lot of them where it's Stephon Diggs just running under his shit, because if it would have been anybody else that he threw it to, they wouldn't have ran under it.
But anybody else would have caught it because we're surrounded by just a wealth of good receivers.
No.
We really are. There's a reason why
Stephon
Cole
Diggs
Beasley's right
Stephon Diggs makes him look that good.
But what about Beasley and Knox and Lee
There's-
Smith
There's a
and
reason.
John Brown
There's
and
a
Isaiah
reason.
McKenzie?
There's a reason why Beasley was cut in Dallas. There's a reason for that. Beasley's a good slot receiver, yeah, but you're not
Josh
going to
Allen's
sit
the only
here.
quarterback.
You're not
who's
going to sit
thrown
here.
to
You're not going to
13
sit here and
different
convince me
receivers
that
all
Beasley.
season.
You're not going to sit here and convince me that Beasley is a top 5 wide receiver, top 10 wide receiver, or a top 15.
I would say he's the best slot receiver in the NFL right now.
I will
Cole
give you
Beasley.
I will give you that, but he's not a top 10. He's not a top 10, 15 wide receiver.
He's not a number one, but he's a top slot.
And Dawson Knox is definitely not a top 10 tight end. So you can't come at me like they're like the shit, like they're the top of, like they're all the cream of the crop of their position. Like a lot of that has to do with all eyes are on Stephon, and you can't cover everybody. You know what I'm saying? If you got everybody focused on this one guy and he's still catching 9 out of fucking 11 passes a game for 150 yards, like, yeah, he may not have a shit ton of touchdowns, but the top wide receiver in the league never does.
All I know is this. So we've swept the Jets. We've swept the Patriots. And as of this weekend, we'll have swept the Dolphins.
That's not going to happen.
Being 6-0 for the first time in our division since 1994. And
it's not going to happen.
Right now, it is the first time in my entire life that I ever recall the Bills being 12-3. Ever.
It's not going to happen because you guys are going to be 11-4. You're not sweeping the Dolphins, man.
We're not going to be 11-4 if we're already 12-3.
And this is why. This is why. All right. This right here.
Tell me.
Because the Dolphins have something to play for, whereas you guys don't. Your guys is already shit.
Junk.
Dolphins are a lot better than what you think they are, man. Especially if they got Fitzpatrick.
With no problem.
Listen, you can't go off the first fucking week of the season.
They're coming to Buffalo.
That's
a
fine.
Miami team coming to this nice, cold December Buffalo.
Okay. And how many times every year is it a team like Buffalo that plays a team like Miami who has something to fight for and Buffalo doesn't, that comes out and gets beat?
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
I'm telling you, bro, you guys are a little bit too overconfident.
It was
to be honest with you, you probably want to lose now before you get to the playoffs. Just because of what you just said, you guys are too confident. You need to get smacked in the mouth.
Oh no, we're not
I am big on that.
I respect the process.
Like, in my honest opinion, if the New England Patriots that year they went 16-0 would have lost to the New York Giants in Week 17 instead of winning, they would have won the Super Bowl that year. God honest opinion. Tom Brady would have another ring. Because by the time they got to that game, they had already said, oh, man, we got this shit in the bag, bro. There ain't no one that can beat us. And that's just what you guys are looking at. If you guys don't lose to Miami, you guys go ahead. Let's say you run the table in the playoffs, get to the fucking Super Bowl, and then you do play a team like the Washington Redskins, who a lot of people are doubting, or any other low team in the playoffs, because there's always that one wild card team that shouldn't have been in the playoffs that makes it to the fucking Super Bowl. Very rarely is it ever. Yeah, like very rarely is it ever one of those top tier teams that makes it every year. So let's say you do
If we,
make it.
you know what, if we play Seattle, mash them again.
That's right there's what I'm saying. You guys are gonna come in with that uber confidence. Oh, we got this in the bag. This is gonna be easy. We just beat the Chiefs, man. These guys ain't nothing. And then what's gonna come out? You guys are gonna get smacked in the fucking mouth because it's a Super Bowl. Teams get fucking lazy. You ain't nobody on your team ever been there.
Fact.
And
Which is why that hunger is not going to stop until we get that Super Bowl win.
even with the Redskins, we got people that have been there. We got a coach that's been there.
Everybody's really talking about this is the big matchup. Is if
Ooh.
Buffalo ends up meeting Kansas City, what's going to happen? And
I really think you guys are gonna lose to Kansas City, bro.
I don't think so, man. I think
Because
we got
Kansas City can beat you in any way possible, and their defense is way better than people give them credit for. It's very hard to run in Kansas City, and that's what you guys really depend on as a strong run game, because it gives you
no,
guys
we're throw, man.
But
Josh Allen's been dropping back 35, 40 times a game.
yeah, but he's been dropping back 30, 40 times a game off of play action. Can't run play action without a strong run game. Can't run the ball, you can't have play action, which means you have to result something he's not good at, which is short, quick, intermediate passes. Got to get the ball out of your hands quick.
Have you been watching the same game I've been watching all season long? I don't know what you're seeing. There's a reason why it's because completion percentage is so high. And statistically, the only things Mahomes has on him is like 500 yards.
That's a whole game.
He's got more touchdowns, though.
So
we'll see.
That what
Bills,
that
Redskins,
means.
Super Bowl 2021.
You know what that means. When the Chiefs get in close, they just say we're going to run the ball. You can't stop us running the ball. We're going to run the ball. I like that. Like I said, man, the Chiefs is one of those teams. They just seem to get better. Like they didn't get more explosive or anything like that. They just seem to get smarter with how they play. How they attack you is different. They all have like a cool, calmed reaction to everything. Not like a cockiness of, yeah, I've been here before, done that. It's all beneath us. But more of like, all right, don't worry, guys. One mistake doesn't mean we're going to get two. Because we got another down. Come on, let's go. Like, that's why I'm a Redskins fan, diehard, but I believe in the Chiefs, man. I think they're about to be the next dynasty.
We will agree to disagree. Because I think right now you're on the beginning of the next Bills dynasty. It's been 25 years. That's a quarter century. It's time for something to happen.
Here's a question. You guys got any free agents coming up next year? Is Josh Allen paid long term?
Matt Milano is up for free agency.
Is Josh Allen paid? Is Josh Allen paid long term?
Oh yeah, they've invested well, and they're going to re-sign Milano.
No, because he hasn't even come up on his 50-year option yet. So that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have a long-term contract.
Well, when the time comes, I'm sure that they'll do what they got to do, especially after he wins them a Super Bowl this year.
Which is only going to make him that much more expensive, and that's what kills a lot of dynasties.
I remember when they put a lot of money on Fitzpatrick in Buffalo, and that ended up being a failed social experiment.
What about Diggs? I know his contract isn't that long.
It was a 2-year deal.
So it means you only got him for one more year. And he's going to want big money.
He didn't really take a lot of money. It was a trade.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. So when his next contract comes up the year after this, he's going to want big money.
I'm sure they got the cap space.
Do they, though?
Why not? I mean, think about how many stars they have in Buffalo. All of them were people that nobody knew nothing about until they came together and formed a team, and suddenly everybody knows their names.
Think about how many high-round draft picks you guys are still paying for. They were bust. How many left tackles you guys have had to pay for and cut over the years that are still on the books? All that shit still matters.
I don't know. We had Cody Ford for many years, and then now we've got Dawkins. He does a good job.
Just saying, you guys ain't gonna beat the Chiefs.
For the years, they spent money on their offensive line, which is why we have the ability to move our guard to center and still get more pancake blocks than any other center in the league.
Just saying. You ain't gonna beat the Chiefs, and you damn sure ain't gonna beat the Dolphins this weekend. Especially if they got
Hey,
Fish
guys.
Magic.
Do you guys did you guys enjoy the safety meeting this evening?
I did.
I know it kind of feels like we're hitting at the end stage where we're starting to babble a little bit, but it's okay though. I can babble on about the Bills for hours, but I don't know if anybody likes it or not. So, just in case, right over here is a subscribe button. Right over here is a like button. Don't forget to hit those. Hit the little notification. It helps us out. People know.
Ding ding.
Let's go Bills. So here
Let's
soon
go
it'll
Redskins.
be a new year, and we'll get to start a whole new bullshit. Any New Year's resolutions, Joe?
No, man, that shit's stupid. Just if you want to change something, you don't
Okay,
need a New Year's resolution.
okay. Let's just Any big goals for the year
Yeah.
other than make this thing really blow up and get bigger?
No, that's my only goal. That's my only focus. Success.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Oh, of course
Why?
it will.
Because
Because
we're
we-
real.
And we love what we do.
My goal this year,
I thoroughly enjoy this and look
I've-
forward to it.
my goal this year is to buy a house. That's my goal. And I'm gonna get her done, so I can really set up my studio, and I don't have to come out here and chill in my garage, so we can do a podcast. But that's what I got. So get a big house, a little spot. I'm gonna get a backdrop in here soon, guys. So you're gonna see some cool stuff in the background. You'll definitely see a Bills Mafia right over in this direction somewhere over here. That'll be cool.
Don't
'Cause
worry.
that's how we roll here.
we can
Bills
blur that
Mafia.
out. We can blur that out in editing. Don't worry.
Edit it. Edit what?
The Bros Mafia.
Well, in that case, let's just edit out your face. How about that? We'll just put it up there.
I was actually thinking about that, but
There we go.
I'm the attractive one out of the group. So
Stop it. Stop it.
but hope you all have
Just
a
'cause
nice
your
New
mom
Year's.
says you're handsome doesn't mean you necessarily are.
My mom does never said that to me.
She told me I was handsome. Sorry, Mom.
Does that make you feel better?
Not really. It makes me feel shallow, but hey.
Man.
That's right, folks. I finally dropped the first mom joke.
And it wasn't me. That's a shocker. I'm usually
Yeah.
the one with the mom jokes.
Yep. Oh man, it was fun though. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope
Happy New Year's.
I hope we get rid of this Corona shit, and we can all move on with our lives. So, thanks for watching. We appreciate
Peace out.
y'all. We love you. Be good. Be good to each other. Hit that like button. Peace.